You're listening to the Candice Dormon Show on Digital Stream Radio.
They say a dream written down is a goal, and a goal with dates is a plan. So let's put pen to paper. Let's put pen to paper and make our dreams come true. So stick around. You're listening to the Candice Dormon Show, a weekly podcast about business, life, and motherhood. Oh my God, hello.
Hello. Yes, we are listening to the Candice Dormon Show. I love your new intro, by the way. It's
Thank you.
fabulous.
Thank
I
you.
love all
Thank
the little
you.
bubblies and everything happening in the background. Y'all get all those special effects on the live.
Every time I learn how to do something new, right?
I'm telling you. So how are you, Miss Candice?
I am so good. I'm so good. So shout out to everybody who's on the live broadcast on Facebook right now. You get to see the behind the scenes, right? Like everything isn't perfect all the time.
Right.
And in the playback, I definitely cut out some things. I try to leave most of them there, though. Maybe I'll leave this there.
Who knows? Maybe she has a reel, like she has like a real bloopers reel happening somewhere that I'm not aware of, and then next thing you know it, people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, that was hilarious."
We'll see. I'll see what I can find. But thanks so much for joining us. I can't see who is watching, but someone is watching. Thank you to folks for tuning in on our Facebook Lives, and then of course for checking the replay if you've missed it on YouTube at Candice Dormon. You can always find the replay of this show and all of our sister shows, because I stay busy, right?
She's a busy girl.
We have the what did I just do? We have the Amplify Show and the Amplify Showcase, which are our sister shows that you can also find on YouTube. So check us out there. Today with me, we have my friend Neil Parisi, and watch this.
It's been a wonderful experience so far.
These amazing watches that you make yourself. Check me out.
But I wanted to create something that was functional, unique, useful, and beautiful.
I feel like we're going to need to at some point like talk about what the differences between those are, like the Amplify show and then the showcase. Like what's going on there, Miss Candice?
So I guess we can talk about it now. We can always talk about it.
Of course.
So Amplify is the sister show to the show, which is a little more serious. I think I really enjoy sort of the relaxed and fun nature of the show. And it's not that the other show isn't, I mean, it's still me, but I like to get a chance to do like hardcore interviews. Hardcore is not right. That's not the right term to use, but I like to do interviews about different subjects that matter to me, and they span all kinds of content. That's not the word I was looking for.
Genres, maybe?
Genres, just different things that come up. So right now I'm in the middle of a series on the effects of distance learning on family childcare providers or family childcare programs. Many of you might know that I used to own my own family childcare program that I ran out of my home, and so I'm still very, very tied to the childcare profession and to my community the childcare provider community that I have grown close to over the last couple of years. So even though I am not in direct service of children and families, I am trying to stay connected to the industry because it still matters to me, right? It still is important to me, and it's still pretty close to me as a parent and a caregiver. So I'm in the middle of a series right now, and the third episode for that series is about to be live next week, probably. And that's just where we're talking about what it looks like for family childcare providers to have to manage their program where they're caring for infants and toddlers, and then also they are typically having school-age kids in their program for the whole day when we usually don't do that. Usually it's just before and after care. And then on top of that,
Wow.
having to manage to facilitate their distance learning schedule and program and all of that stuff.
So
It's
basically, they've become teachers as well.
they have become teachers of school age kids, right? They always have been teachers of infants and toddlers, but now they're also teachers of school age kids. So just shining a light on what that means. And in general, whenever things come up that I'm interested in, it feels like I can have those very disparate, very different conversations on Amplify without feeling like I have to hone in on one specific topic. So our most recent episodes, we had a realtor from Boston was on. We had a investment manager was on. We were talking about investing money, which is when I learned the difference between financial planning and investment management. So check in that episode is with Kate Faddis. If you, like me, didn't know the difference between financial planning and investment management, there is a very clear difference. So that's Amplify, and then the Amplify Showcase is a place where entrepreneurs and makers, specifically makers of things or sellers of things, can come on and showcase their business and their products. So it's my version of QVC, where we just spend a few minutes, like 15 to 20 minutes, highlighting and showcasing a small business owner or a maker artist of some kind. So I've had a local rapper on there. Our friend Janae Marks is an author. She's been on there. You know, a local maker of the fancy bracelets I was wearing the other day, the watch bracelets. So all different kinds of makers and creatives I like to have on that show. So if you're looking for anything, if you're looking for gift ideas, definitely head over to Amplify Showcase and see if there's something that catches your fancy.
Wow. So that's amazing. So, one is let's have an organic conversation about things that, interest each other, things that are happening in spaces that you've either previously been involved with or you are curious about and are important to you. And then the other one is just to showcase entrepreneurs and their products and get really in depth, focus, give them a showcase of the items that they have available for the public. That's awesome.
Absolutely, QVC, I'm coming for you.
Love
you don't know
it.
about me yet. You don't know about Amplify Showcase yet, but you will. You
Yes.
will.
So, Miss Candice, how are you and how are your amazing boys?
So I'm good. The boys are good. Let's see. The thing, I can't remember if I talked about this last week, but every week it's usually something exciting going around on here. And so the latest thing here is that our favorite little genius, that's, I hate to label kids like challenging. That's what I want to say. But our favorite little genius has now realized that he has some autonomy, or he thinks he has some autonomy. And so what's happening is that he is signing out of distance learning. So he's supposed to be in class, he's supposed to be participating, and the facilitator gets a call like, "Hey, where's Emery? Emery's just signed out of class and walked away and gone to do something else." So I think we've hit a marker in the school year. I think if we were in school, right, this might be that antsy point where kids, the excitement of starting a new school year is starting to
wear
off. And now it's just like every morning I got to get up and go to school, and it starts to be laborious. And so
but
I think
so hard though.
He's reached that point, and he's so we're trying to work through it. We're trying to get him to a point where he remembers that this is school. It's still real school. It's still super important. I said to him, "You're so smart, but I want you to go to school so you can get even more smart." And he goes, "Mom, I'm a genius." I was like, listen.
Gotta love them. But it's so hard, right? So all summer long, kids were cooped up in houses, playing in backyard spaces as a result of, the pandemic, which is still
If they
raging.
were lucky. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then now, come school year, come school time, in late August, early September, we were like, oh, you're going to go to school, right? Because the original plan was, especially like
Mm-hmm.
in a state like ours,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be able to go to school and you're going to be able to, wear your mask and see your friends. And, you know, that carpet literally was ripped right under them. Right. And so they immediately went back to distance learning. And that can be challenging, right? Because you're
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to seeing those friends that you haven't been able to see in a long time and to interact with other people and your teachers, and you can't do that yet again.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. And I would say like they're mostly okay, right? And
Right.
for some kids now, distance learning is all they know.
Right.
And it's been going on long enough. And, thankfully for us, our kids are in a pod. And so it still kind of feels like school. But again, I think my 4-year-old is starting to notice some cracks, in the foundation and finding ways to maneuver around them. So, it's a challenge, but I think that kids are they're very
Oh, kids are
adaptive.
smart.
They're
Kids are smart.
very, yeah. They can handle it as long as we pay
Hmm.
attention, right? Like I'm reminded that it's a normal behavior for kids to get sort of like over it at some point. That is why there's a big celebration over the 100 days of school mark, right? Because there's
Right.
like something to work up to and then another little celebration, it's just a full year of made up markers, right? Made up celebrations to get us through the school year.
Right.
So I'm not mad at him. I think it's hilarious that at 4 years old, he's,
And I keep
figured this
forgetting
out.
that he's only 4.
He's only 4. He's only 4. So it's an interesting thing. It tests the boundaries of my parenting skill. Every time I think I've managed something, here he comes, has like mentally made a leap, and now I have to reset. I gotta I gotta be ready for him every single time. So it's good. It keeps us all on our toes.
And this is your youngest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and he already has a history of being extremely genius,
Yes.
right? And so, when you think about he is the light, if not the spotlight,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's the one that like gets very animated
Yes.
in the
Yes.
things that he does, right? And you can tell because it comes across when he's interacting with you versus when you compare, and not that you should be comparing, but when you compare him to your older child, to
Yep.
Lincoln, it's like Lincoln is much more reserved and quiet, and he does these things. However, he does them in ways that, really aren't rambunctious
Yeah.
or extremely like super genius.
Yeah. He is Lincoln is whip smart. Like
Right.
he's super smart and he's paying attention to everything. And just when you think he's not, he comes in with a comment and you're just like, oh, okay. You're aware, right? You're like aware of what's happening around. But
It's funny.
he is very different and very reserved and quiet. One of the things that came up with him today is he has said to me on several occasions that in his program that he's at, he's like, oh, I don't have time to do this because so he said to me today he didn't have time to go use the bathroom because everybody was leaving and he had to catch up to everyone. And I was just like, dude, you just have to ask them to wait. Hey,
Right.
I need to use the bathroom, please wait. And he's
Right.
the kind of kid who's like not going to make a fuss, right? And so
Right.
then he's going to come home kind of like stressed out that he didn't get a chance to go. And so now I didn't think about it before, but now I have to reach out to the teachers and say to them, hey, I don't know what it looks like, right? And maybe it was different when in the moment, but if you could just like check in with him to make sure that he's okay, because he's never going to be the crying baby, right? He's never going to be the squeaky wheel. Whereas I feel like I'm always the squeaky wheel. Hey, I need something. Right? And Emery is going to be the squeaky. Hey, I need something.
Well,
He's not going to do that.
It's funny that you say that, because I was literally just doing and making an observation in my head that um, in my interactions with your husband, him and Lincoln are like identical when it comes
Yeah.
to how they conform themselves, or how they present themselves
Yeah.
in public. Right? They're very quiet and reserved, but they've got a party inside them. Versus, for example, when you think about Emery, he is you and you are him
I
all the
know.
way.
It's probably
Like,
why we butt heads the most.
like I can feel I feel that for whatever reason, I think that you as a little girl were just like identically like your son.
Probably.
Running around, jumping. You should have that conversation with your mom one day. You'd be surprised.
I know.
She's gonna be like,
It's true.
flashbacks.
And then the last thing I'll say before we jump into the thing I wanted to talk about tonight is we went out for the first time as a family. I would say as a family. I'm going to try to tell this story really quickly, but it was just a moment for me. We went outside as a family for the first time this past weekend. We had to run a couple errands. I wanted a new pair of sneakers, so we went to DSW. We should not have done that. And I say it like this, that we went out for the first time as a family because of Corona, usually someone goes and someone stays, and then someone else goes and someone stays. There's no reason for us to take the kids out because kids are like germ magnets. They just, I mean, they walk around with their hands out. They're just touching. They have to touch the whole banister. They have to touch the whole glass. They just rub up against everything.
And their sensories are going 100%.
Just I can't handle it, right? I'm like, Corona's there. It's there. Everywhere is Corona. Please stop touching everything, right? Rolling around on the floor. I'm just like, why are you on the floor? But I didn't realize it's probably been a good 4 or 5 months since we've all been out together, because I clearly remember the last time I took them to Walmart, probably in April or May, maybe June, I don't know. And it was that same thing, just hands everywhere, touching everything all up. I was just like, put your hands in your pocket. Like that was the only way. I had to strap Emery into the carriage, and then I had to ask Lincoln to put his hands in his pocket because I just couldn't handle it. Anyway, I realized that it was that I was out of practice. I was literally out of practice of being outside in a public space with my own 2 children and my husband. And I was just like, we should go home. We can't do this.
Babe, I can't handle this.
I had an actual physical I'm pretty sure I had an actual physical anxiety attack. The car wasn't big enough. The space wasn't big enough. And then they wanted to go to Dave and Buster's. And I was just like, it is still a pandemic. It is still coronavirus. Like we went through there, and the kids were about to cry. And I was just like, Lincoln, you're a smart kid. Please look around and tell me where the hand sanitizer is. Can you find it anywhere? Right? I don't see it anywhere. Do you see anybody walking around with a spray in their hand? Not a single spray, not a single rag. I don't know where the hand sanitizer is. There are 1,000 million buttons in here. We have to leave right now and don't touch a single thing.
But it's true. Like a lot of people don't realize, how dangerous it is.
It still is. And for a moment, you can like let go on your diligence, right? Like for a moment, I thought maybe there's nobody in there, because someone said to me that they went to Chuck E. Cheese the other day and it was fine because it was like them and one other family, right? Everybody's afraid to go, so it's empty. So I thought maybe it will be empty. It was not empty. And we like hightailed it out of there, and I sprayed everybody as we got out the door. I was just like, if we thought that things were okay, I was reminded this weekend that it was not. It's not okay.
Right. And the fear itself. I mean, I had a scare this past week.
Really?
In where people that I associate myself with closely, knowing that we all practice the same thing, came in contact with someone who was positive. And then the fear of not knowing and not being able to get to a testing site because it was Thanksgiving. and you
Oh,
had to wait
wow.
till the next day and then get tested that day
And then
and
wait.
then wait another 3 days, right? Because it takes about, from the time you're exposed, it would take about 4 to 5 days before you start exhibiting symptoms.
But you can pass it on between that time.
Right. But you can also test negative because it hasn't really had a chance to
Oh,
proliferate through your body.
yeah.
And so if you immediately go as soon as you're exposed, you may test negative and then 3 or 4 days later test positive.
That's how nefarious this thing is. This
Right.
this virus is a smart virus. It is
She ain't
such a
playing.
smart virus.
I think it's a she because, she crazy.
She crazy. She
She
crazy.
crazy.
And remember my uncle was on and it was like, and he said that then at the end you start to feel better and you're like, oh, I feel good. And you might go outside and then the next day you're sick again. So this
Right.
is a really tricksy virus.
Yep. And, one of my friends called me yesterday and said, hey, you haven't heard from me in a couple of days. Someone that I haven't seen in a couple of months since the summer, but he goes, I tested positive. I'm home. And I said, well, if you need anything, if you want me to grab some groceries for you, leave them at your door,
Yeah.
just give me a call. Let me know anything that I can do, I'll do. But, it's like we got to help and support each other out at this point because you can clearly see that federally, at the federal level, we have no support whatsoever or guidance. And so for my people in Connecticut, come on now. You can't blame the governor. You can't blame our government. We did our due diligence. We were very good. We were doing what we were supposed to. Our numbers were down. Yo asses are getting complacent. And now things are starting to creep back up. And you're over here sitting trying to blame the government.
Right.
No,
Stay
honey.
home.
Stay
And
your ass home.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty. And so I reeled everybody back in. I was like, let's start again because this is not okay. Right. Like we're used to going to the park, used to being outside. I didn't realize how many people were out acting like nothing is wrong. So
right. And I get it. I get it. Oh my God.
tiring.
We need that human interaction. We need to be able to hug people and touch things. And those are just naturally things that kids do.
Yeah.
It's just not the time.
I know,
really, honestly. We
scary.
really need to be careful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, look at how the time goes when you're having fun.
Time
The time
flies.
just goes by when you're having fun. All right, so the thing I wanted to talk about this week is about goal setting. So it's December 3rd. It's December 3rd. And usually this is the time where you're like, oh, I'm going to eat everything. So I'm just going to relax, right? I'm just going to I'll pick up my diet in January. I'll set my New Year's resolutions for January. But January comes really fast, right? And you want to hit the ground running. And this is the time, November and December, when all the planners start to come out. All the new planners probably were out from September. They want you to get your planning on, right? And also, I had a sort of like an aha moment. I've always known that goal setting is important, but I've always been afraid to put down like real goal. You kind of write down, oh, I want to be skinny, I want to have abs, but those aren't like real goals of mine, right? Like
those are wishes.
Those are wishes. But I finally wrote down a goal around my my business, my marketing business, and around my skincare business, Echo Body. I was like, I think for the last year, I was just like, I'm doing this. I'm really excited about this. And when I really start to sell, to like move items, then I'll really start to think about how many I'm selling or whatever. And just in the meantime, as long as I'm bringing in more than I'm spending, then it's probably okay. And in November, I decided to write down a number. Like, this is how much money I want to make from this, like how much revenue I want to come in. And when I wrote down the number, the number was literally $500. I was like, if I could make $500 in revenue on Echo Body in November, I would be like so excited. And this is because I had never written down like an actual number, just like, oh, I got a sale, or oh, I got, whatever.
Right.
So I wrote down the number, and as I wrote down the number, I was like, who do you think you are? Like, what?
You QVC better watch out.
$500. Like, it just felt like a wish and a prayer, right? And then December 1st came, and I put in the thing to see how much revenue came in from Echo Body, and it was almost 3 times that amount. So number one, thank you so much to everyone who has shopped at EchoBody this year, and especially for gift giving season in November and Black Friday. Like, I can't even explain how excited and how grateful I am to everyone for supporting EchoBody and like supporting me in general. Like right now, it's really close. Like you guys know me, I know you, I know every single person who's ordering. I've had one order from like a rando person that I have no idea who that person is, and that's a milestone. Like that's a big deal. But every other person who shops at EchoBody, I absolutely know who you are, and I'm so grateful for you, right? And I saw this like revenue number for this 1 month, and I was just like, holy cow. Whenever I think about what's happening, I always feel like I'm behind because I never write down a number. And I don't write down a number because I'm afraid to be behind, right? It's like a vicious cycle. But when you write down a number, right? Like when you get on a scale to put in your like right now weight, and then you go about the month eating better, exercising, making good choices. When you weigh yourself again, you can go, oh my God, I lost 10 pounds. But if you didn't weigh yourself at the beginning, you could have lost 15 pounds and you would say, oh my God, I'm still so fat, right? Like you don't have that initial marker. And so I was just reminded this last week how important it is to put a stake in the ground and say, this is what I want. And I think that is the hardest thing for so many of us. It's like put a stake in the ground and say, this is what I want, because you're afraid that you're not going to get it. But like, what is that saying? Shoot for the
moon and you might end up in the stars. You never know.
Yes, that's what it is. Shoot for the moon and land in the stars. I mean, it's still a star, right?
Right.
But if you didn't shoot for the moon, you'd still be on the ground. So I just got really excited about setting goals. I was like, now what else can I do? Like, what other goals can I set?
Right.
And I thought it would be a good exercise to sort of talk through out loud these things that I'm thinking about. There's so many different ways to set goals, like SMART goals. That's the one that comes to mind. It was the one that we did the most when I was working outside for other people. But SMART goals and different ways to make like specific SMART goals are specific, measurable. Do you remember what the A is for? Actionable, something with an R, and then time bound. I don't remember what
I feel dumb right now because I don't remember what the acronym stands for.
The acronym SMART goals is just it's just an idea for how you set goals. And the S is for, what did I say? I just said them. Specific? Oh my God.
Specific?
I don't think that's what I said just now. Specific, measurable, actionable. The R I can't remember, and then the T is for time. Like it has to be time bound. Anyway, it's just a way to think about goals. But I was thinking about how I wanted to think about goals for next year, right? And so I just wanted to share them with you. These are my 5 or 6. We'll see how it shakes out. So the number one thing that I am doing, because I'm doing it this week, and that I encourage you to do, is to take a minute and dream big, right? Like dream humongous, whatever humongous, it's relative, right? Like whatever humongous is for you, dream like super big, because it's okay to have big dreams, even if you think they're ridiculous, right? Like I would like to live in Spain and travel and have a totally online work like business that I can run from anywhere and be able to support my family, right? Like that seems, especially with Corona, that seems so out of this world, right?
Right. But like, it could happen.
Another country that won't, the EU who won't let us in, right? Like it's out of this world. But that would be really dope. I would really like to do that. So definitely take a minute and put down what is your big dream. And it's not necessarily like make $1 million, right? But like, what's the big dream? Right. And then have that as your guiding North Star, right? Then I'm thinking about planning backwards, right? Like, how am I going to get to that big dream, right? I should probably have a business. If I want online businesses, I should probably have a business, maybe a couple businesses. Whatever it is that you think is going to get you there, start planning backwards. I need a business. Maybe I need a couple businesses. I probably need some kind of team that's going to help out a little bit. I probably need a website. I probably need some seed money if I haven't already started, right? I probably need to launch a few products, whatever it is, right? And you can be doing this as someone who wants to launch a business or someone who's in a business right now. Maybe you're still in the early stages, the first year, a couple years of your business. So plan backwards, right? It's plan with the end in mind, start with the end in mind. It helps you to take those steps backwards. And then number 3 is to be realistic, but stretch, right? And so what I did with that $500 goal was like, it felt realistic. And at that moment also felt like a stretch, right? How are you going to sell $500 worth of product, right? That feels like a stretch. I literally wrote it down with my eyes closed. I was just like, okay. Just that's it, right?
But it happened, right? And so that's what I'm saying is, that now you can set a realistic goal based on that $500 goal you gave yourself and say, okay, now I want to beat this.
Right. And of course, come January, I'm going to have to reconcile that giving season is over and it might have to change a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm going to ride this like excitement and this wave as long as it as it will take me. Okay. Okay. So that is the sort of like the money part of it. But one of the things I was listening to this other business person that I listened to, and she said it's important to have goals that are not all about money, right? Because if you don't reach the money goal, then you'll just be depressed, right? Like if you say you want to reach $500 revenue and you don't, you're going to be depressed and you're going to feel like, oh, well, I should shut down the business.
Right.
Hey, Keisha. Hey. We have a viewer who's just joined us. So she suggests, and her name is Louise Henry, who I listen to. She suggests that you find other things in your business that you can track that are not just money. So for my business, things that I can track are email subscribers, which I'm still working on my email subscribe list, because that's how that's your audience. Marketing. You can track followers, right? On your social media platform. Is your follower number growing? How do you do that? It's not the only thing that's important, but it is a marker that you can track. And then, sorry, I lost my thing. So it's email, it was followers, and then if you have a website, there's a way to look at your analytics for your website. What's the traffic look like for your website? Is it 100 now and 125 next week or next month? Like, what does that look like? And what kinds of things can you do to change that number, right? And so if you have your dollar goal, your dollar revenue goal, and then you have these other markers that you can look at. If you don't reach the dollar goal, but you increase your email subscribers, then that will still feel good to you. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that could potentially lean into or turn into those dollars that you were chasing.
Exactly. Right. Absolutely. So that was my number 4, is to make sure that you have goals that you can track that are not just dollar. Definitely have a dollar amount, but track some other things. Then as you're planning, you should think about ways that you can affect those different markers, right? So what do you think you could do to increase email subscribers? Do you have to offer some sort of like freebie information, or are you offering whatever it is, like my top 10, like sign up for my email list to learn my top 10 podcasting tools or something like that? Whatever it is that you think people will be interested in, is there something you can offer that will incentivize people to sign up for your email list? Is there something you can offer to incentivize people to sign up on your social media? Maybe not offer, because that's not how it works, but are there things that you can do to increase activity on your social media pages? Can you be more direct in saying, hey, make sure you like and follow my page? What are the kinds of things that you can do? And when you start thinking about these metrics that are not dollars, it starts to get really clear on what kinds of things you can do. Otherwise, you're just like, sell more product. It's like, okay, we all want to sell more products, but how are you going to do that? And then the other piece that's related to your metrics, especially your email metrics and your followers and your website metrics, there is a sort of general accepted conversion rate, which is like the number of people who see your stuff who will eventually buy from you. The general number is like 2%.
Right.
Very small.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why people are going for like 100,000 followers or like 500,000 people on their email list, because they're hoping to capture like you can make a pretty good living off of 2% of 100,000, right? So that is the conversion rate. The note that I want to make is for someone like me or someone who is early in their business, your conversion rate might be a lot higher. Like right now, I feel like my conversion rate is probably, I don't know, 70, 75, 80%, because everybody who is shopping at EchoBody are people who know me. There isn't a, if people are coming to my site right now, it's because they want to buy something, because they know me and they trust me and they've seen and, they heard from someone else that we know, like that sort of thing. Most people who come to my site know me and buy something. As I get to the point where it's more than just one, remember I told you I've had one customer who I don't know who it is and where they came from.
Right.
As you start to get more of those people, then of course your conversion rate will start to drop, because it'll be a more realistic. Right now it's like my mom, my friends, my cousins, people that I know, and so they're ready. So when you think about goals for your website and your email list and your followers, think about that 2% conversion number, right? So that's for every 100 people, that's 2 people. So if you need 2 people, if you want 100 people, then you have to have 2,000. Is that what that conversion is? Or is that just 20?
Well, 10% of 2,000 is
200.
I think it's like,
or is it 10% of 200,000 is 200?
I don't know. You're making me do math at 7:49 p.m. at night, girl.
Get better at math if we're going to be running a business.
That's another point. Be good at math.
Easy numbers. But again, if you start with the goal in mind, you start with how many subscribers you want to get, and then you have to remember that you have to shoot for even more in order to get a percentage of that. Then after you've thought about your percentage, or sort of in the same amount of time, I'm thinking again, as a person who's running a business that sells a product, start thinking specifically in specifics about your product. How many of each of these products, or this product, or each of these products do I need to sell to make the revenue number that I said I wanted to make, right? So if I want to make $100 and I have a $10 product, I have to sell 10 of them. Or I have one $100 product that I'm going to sell, right? Like, or I want to sell 2 $50 products, right? You find, I feel like that is some Common Core math. You find the different ways to reach the goal that you're getting to, right?
Right.
If you haven't already set prices for your item. If your prices are already set, then do the math, right? I've got a $10 item. I want to sell 100 of them. Or I've got a $20 item. I also want to sell 100 of them. And have a calculator handy.
I want to sell a lot of things.
I want to sell a lot of things. But and hey, shout out to my cousin Jaquise, who's back watching the show. Thanks for joining us. Okay. They sorry, I just got distracted. So if you think about, sorry, I'm pressing buttons. I don't know what's happening. Do you still need what you need?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you have to think about the numbers, right? Of how much you want to sell, how much money you want to make, and then how that relates to how many subscribers you need for your email list or traffic at your website based on that 2% conversion rate. And definitely make mention below in the comments or reach out to me if I am glossing over these a little bit too high. I'm happy to talk you through conversion rates and that sort of thing. Okay. So that, of course my notes went away. We talked about the conversion rate of 2%. And then you sort of made this big number. I want to have 100 sales, whatever that number is for you. I want to make $100, whatever that number is for you, for the year. And then do the math of breaking that down into a quarterly goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
A monthly goal, a weekly goal, and even a daily goal, depending on what kind of business you have, right?
Right.
I would like to say that I have a goal of selling like one product, like having one sale a day. But sometimes that's not how my business works, right? Because my item is like a luxury self-care item, and so people typically buy it on the weekends. I'm not sure why, but like you've been thinking about it all week and then you treat yourself on the weekend, that kind of
thing. Or
I
mean, if you're a returning customer, you're going to go through the product that you have before you come back and buy the product again.
Yes.
But I think that another really important thing that a lot of people should always do if you have a business, regardless of how you're feeling, regardless of what's going on around you, is try to, even if it's not a sale, engage one person every day. It takes 5 minutes to reach out to someone and say, hey, did you know? Or to engage someone on social media, or to send someone an email, or to talk to someone in person, obviously with your mask on and social distancing. But one person, that's a very attainable goal. You encounter an obscene amount of people every day, depending on what you do and where you go, that it is very easy to just take 5 minutes out of your day and encounter one person to talk about your business and your product. And I guarantee you that will also make a very huge difference, because if you're doing one person a day, that's 30 people a month. And if you think about a 2% conversion rate, then you just got yourself at least, 6 or 7 people buying your product. So
it's a really good point, because sometimes we get bogged down in the details or the back office stuff or the whatever, and you can go a whole day, even in this age, right?
Right.
You could go a whole day without talking to a single person about your business, right? Hopefully, if you're on social media, you are interacting with people who are posting on your page, or you post something on your page to garner some interaction. But you could get distracted, especially if this is a side hustle business that you're doing, where it's not your full-time job and you're only doing it on the weekends or something like that. But Tommy, you're so right that it is absolutely an important metric.
It's free advertisement.
And
it
free
is
advertisement.
Free.
And it's a muscle that you are that you're practicing, right? Talking about your business every time you answer a question, every time you ask somebody something, it is a way to hone your skill on how you talk about your business. So it's all good. It's all really good.
You walk, you go to the bank and you've got people there. Talk to your teller while she's counting your money. Hey, by the way, while you counting that money to throw it up in my bank account, you should go here and throw another 30 in there too. Here is.
I'm just here making a business deposit for my natural
skincare line.
What skincare line? Oh, my hemp oil skincare line.
Right. And so, you really, no one will ever take care of your baby the way you take care of your baby. And regardless if that's a real baby or a metaphor, in this case, a business, it is absolutely true. No one will take care of that baby the way you do. And so therefore, use all of your available resources. And that is just one that's just absolutely free. That's an attainable goal. I can probably tell you 50 or 60 people a month. So, 30 people, that's attainable. One a day, just do it.
And just do it. Just do it. The last thing I'll say when you're thinking about, because I definitely said to dream big, right? I am all about dreaming big. What I also want you to think about, because we're breaking down these goals, like think about if you say, like, it's really easy to say, I want to make $100,000, or I want to make 100 sales for the year, or whatever the number is that you are doing. But when I said earlier that it's important to be realistic and stretch, think about how many sales you can make in a day, right? Like $100 for the week is, no, that wasn't a good number. $70 for the week is $7 a day. Are you making $7 a day? Can you make $7 a day? Right? It sounds like a small, minuscule, insignificant thing to think about. But if you can get consistent with making $7 a day, then you can go to making $20 a day, right? Or if you can get consistent making one sale a day, then you can get to making 2 sales a day, making 3 sales a day, right? Like, or making, maybe based on your business, it's not a daily sale, it's more like a weekly thing, because, like I said, most of my business happens over the weekend. Can you make it so that in a week you sell 10 items? Like, if I had 10 sales a week consistently, listen, I had 3 sales one day and I was just like, who's better than me?
And you know what the funny thing is, that there are a lot of free opportunities for you to advertise your business in places that you would never think to do so. Right? And so, for example, one of the best things that you can do is to grab small business cards with your website on it and maybe a picture of something that you're selling or product, and just keep those with you. And when you are looking to engage someone, but you really don't have the time to fully go out, all the way with your pitch, they say, hey, listen, I work with, Amazing Hemp Skincare line. Here's my web card. Check out the website, and send me a message if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to schedule a consultation and sit with you and explain to you what my products do. Easy peasy. You don't really have to do too much. How many times do we go to coffee shops all the time?
I mean, pre-COVID.
Right. But even with COVID, like, a lot of people go to Starbucks. I went to a Starbucks not too long ago, and that thing was packed. They were social distancing, but they're packed. Starbucks has free public posting boards.
It's true.
It costs nothing. Well, it maybe a couple of cents to print a flyer and go pop it on these boards, right? That's free advertisement. And those are businesses that are allowing you to post things for free, and they do that all over the place. At libraries, they do that, in public spaces that have public boards. So really, the opportunities to show who you are and what you have and what you do is endless, and not all of it will cost you an arm and a leg.
Right. And not to mention all of the free sites like the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the YouTube, right? If you can get comfortable, we're video people. Tommy and I are video people, happy to be on camera. And I know that is a scary thing for a ton of people. And so however you can figure out how to get comfortable on social media, it is your own platform, right? Like, I used to dream about being on QVC, and then I decided I make my own damn QVC,
right? And a lot of people don't know this, and I'll share this with your people, because I feel that as a result of the show, right, we have given so much of ourselves from a video perspective, and people see us every week. My thing is, I was never comfortable in front of a camera, right? And it was as a result of starting a podcast and engaging with people and becoming comfortable with having conversations with people that I'm able to actually look at a camera and have a conversation with people that I don't know on the other end of that, right? And it's like Candice said, it's a very scary thing. You don't have to be great at it, but it's something that I've been working on, and you get better and better at it every day.
Absolutely.
And so practice makes perfect. So don't be scared of the camera. Don't be scared to engage all of these amazing opportunities that you have, and use them wisely, right? Don't get sucked into Facebook. Like, if you know that you're going to go and post something on your business page, post it and leave.
I know that's so hard. That's
Because
so
you
hard to
stay
do.
there, right? And then you forget that you still had to go to Instagram, and you had to go to Twitter, and you had to go to this other page and this other service to post the same thing, but you just spent an hour on Facebook and forgot about that.
Exactly. Like, be very
So
careful. Be very careful.
be very careful not to get sucked into all the other craziness, because it is very easy to get lost in the sauce on Facebook.
And then you think that you're working, but you're not really. I'm definitely guilty of that. Like,
Right.
I'm doing for work. No, you're not. You're just scrolling.
Scrollings.
I read a post the other day that said, if your first video is perfect, you waited too long. And so I am here to say, right, like, I just looked at some of my YouTube videos. So the Candice Dormon channel on YouTube, I started a few years ago.
Right.
Probably right around when Emery was born. I might have had it before that, but I really started. I don't know if some of you might remember when I did like a month of every day. It was like dinner. I forget what I called it. I can't even remember what I called it, but it was always dinner time.
You were doing Breezy Mom things.
Yeah, I was doing Breezy Mom before it was Breezy Moms. And we just had the camera on at dinner time, like making dinner. And I was just like, I look at those videos now and I'm just like, what was I doing? I don't know what I was doing.
Right.
But
you knew you wanted to do it.
Look at. I have those things to look at. And that is not to say that I think that I'm a star right now, but I've definitely come a long way from those early videos. And I will be even better, 6 months and a year from now. So definitely, if you can, take the leap and get on camera in some way, because people, as we wrap up, people shop and people buy from people that they like, right? And that's why right now everybody who's shopping with me knows me, because they like me and already know me. But when you move past your immediate community into like the world, when the world starts to find you, they will start to shop with you because they like you. That's why sharing so much of an appropriate amount, like whatever you're comfortable with, sharing of yourself is so important, because people can buy natural deodorant or low body butter. They can buy it from so many places. Why would they buy it from me? Right? And why would somebody who doesn't know me buy it from me? It's because they saw me somewhere, like chasing Emery up the hill, trying to graphic, and they're like, oh my God, I have that all the time. Like, I have a little one just like that, right? And so you want to make sure that you are sharing yourself as comfortably as you can, as much as you want to, with your audience, with your customers, so that people start to get to know you and then choose you because they're choosing you, right?
You become relatable to them. You become real. And I think that people, when they see themselves in someone, it's a lot easier to engage with what they're selling, with what they're doing, and to get involved with that, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So that's what was on my mind this week. I thought I was going to get to it sooner, but it's always a pleasure and a joy chit-chatting with you.
Plus, we missed a week, so we were making up.
We had things to catch up on. But I love being here. I'm so glad to have this platform where people can watch and talk. Usually people talk with me during the week about the things we talked about. And so if you have any questions about any of the things that we mentioned today, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'm at Candice Dormon at Gmail, so you can always find me there. And good luck. Definitely make time for goal setting this year. Good luck on your goal setting, and try to do it before January. Don't get caught up in the like New Year's resolutions thing. Do it now, so that you can hit the ground running. And then the last thing that I'll say, which is what I should have started with, is the year's not over, right? It is only December 3rd. There are still, 31 days in December? There's still a lot of days, 28 days left.
Yeah.
If you are a business owner, if there's a thing if you're a business owner, there's something that you're selling, push in December. Push in December as hard as you can to end the year with a bang, right? Like to do as much as you possibly can, because it is so easy for us to say, oh, it's the end of the year, I'm just going to take a bunch of time off and like and start again in January, right? Or I didn't reach my goal yet. People will say, like, especially if you haven't written down any goals, you're like, oh, I'm probably not going to reach my goal, and so I'm just going to relax, and then I'll like hit the ground running again. If you are in some sort of product-based business, especially something that people can buy for the holidays, this is not the time to rest. It's kind of like a hair salon. Their weekend is Sunday and Monday. It's not Saturday and Sunday, right? Like, read the room and make sure that you take your time in January. That's when you can rest. I'm all about self-care. If you need it, definitely do it. But if you
don't cheat yourself out of some good ass food. Exactly. Just go out and eat what you want to eat. And just as long as you go back to it, you're good.
Right. But what I'm meaning is, if you need to take a break because you need to take a break, like, fine, do that. You better than me. But if you are selling a product, if you're a product-based business, December is the time when people are buying things, right? This is the gift giving season. And so you don't want to put let go on the pedal now, when you, like, some businesses make 80% of their money in October, November, and December, right? Like, this is the time. And then in January, you can take a rest. It can be your Sunday, Monday weekend, right? But don't give up your Saturday if your business rocks on Saturdays. You don't know, especially if you haven't done goal setting for this year because you're early in your stage and you've been afraid to do goals. I promise you don't know how close you are to reaching a milestone, and you could miss it if you let up too soon this December. So I encourage all of my entrepreneur friends, all of my small business owners, people who are like still in the early phases of their launch, like, keep at it, and like, let's take a rest in January together. I will rest with you, but December is our month. So on that note, thank you all for being here. Definitely catch the replay on YouTube at Candice Dormon. Share the show, this show particularly, share with any of your friends who you know who are small business owners, who are launching. Share it with them if they need some encouragement to start goal setting and writing down goals, and reach out to us if you have any questions. That's all I have. Anything else?
I think that's it. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. And Candice, of course, thank you for having me on the show. It's always great. I learned so much. I'm a podcaster, and having to talk about things that are business. I feel that eventually, if I ever decide to do my own business or start something, that I'll be well equipped and have all of the good things to hit the ground running.
Yes, I'm so glad. These are things, as I get them, I share them with you. So I'm not an expert in any of these things. I've just tried a few of them and want to save you some stumbles if I can. So
who is she kidding? She's tried a lot of them.
A few things. All right. So on that note, until next time. This show is produced by Emlyn Group Productions. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, don't stress, just breathe.